You too.
You know, we've, due to Kim and Bob's perseverance, because I've been like the Phantom of the Opera sometimes the last 2 years, we've kept the show going, but very few of our guests have been as productive and enlightened in these last 2 years as you've been. So
That's very sweet of
you
you
to
to
say.
It's true.
We've got a lot to talk about, but
we
we
do.
know, we like to just start off with some music. So whatever you'd like to play, we'd love to hear.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'll start with this oldie but goodie. I love this song so much, and I actually didn't record it. I wrote it about 20 years ago, but didn't record it until my most recent album called Dragonfly, and it's really talking about what is illusion and what is real, and I wrote it at a time in my life when I was trying to figure out what the hell my purpose was, and I was doing, I was a songwriter in New York City and doing that whole thing at the time, and just didn't feel like it was the whole picture, you know what I mean? But it's real important, so here we go. Standing like strangers after all this time, hardly believe it, while we stop on a dime and look back. Facing the mirror, what are we trying to find? Some of the answers, and all the while we are so blind. 'Cause what is here's here. And while the pendulum swings, faint sounds of cracking still pulse in my ears. My heart is breaking, oh no. Well, go on, where are you headed? Come on, I want to know what is real. Clenching my fists while I come out swinging, but there are no bells and there is no countdown. I fight the fight. We're counting our changes and turning around, but we're always the same, and these wants and these urges still burn, they burn. And while that pendulum swings, the faint sounds of cracking still pulse in your ears. Well, your heart is breaking, oh no, not again. So go on, well, where are you headed? Come on, I want to know what is real. Is real. And I throw these questions into the fire and look through the ashes for any answers, but how to find them, shooting still higher than me. Well, it may not be easy. No one can promise that gardens of roses and butterflies floating, all the faint-hearted, trusting, not trusting yet, gardens and trumpets and melodies floating away, floating away. So go on, 'cause where are you headed? Come on, I want to know what is real.
Novy, and I'm going to have Kim come back over here. And that was a very nice job, Kim, holding the microphone as
Yeah, that was
mic
amazing.
technician.
Like, she saw the panic in my eyes, and she immediately
Our
responded,
mics
which
sometimes
was
are
beautiful.
animated.
I think I fixed it. I've just shortened it to where the weight won't be. Check it out, Kurt. See if it
So,
works.
Kim, why don't you take over
Okay.
the comm, and I'll go over and look at the mic.
Okay.
Tag teaming, let's do it.
Well, and responding to, so Bob Johnson is managing at home. So I'm managing the sound a little bit on the live feed. Hopefully that sounds, guys, sometimes when we have keyboard players, it can sound a little hot at the beginning because it creates an electronic wall of sound that we typically don't have. And so we want to make sure that you are as inviting digitally as you are in person.
Oh, beautiful.
So
yeah.
So thank you
Oh,
for
I wish
that.
I could bring an actual acoustic piano.
No, it's fine.
Well, when we get the downstairs studio, we'll have one here, probably a Steinway. I think that's as
Okay.
all the money
it should
that's
be.
pouring into the studio. Well,
The
Karen,
20-foot Steinway, yes.
Karen, we have all been following your adventures, and I want to talk about a lot of things going on with you. But if we could roll back the clock and back as a youngster growing up, there was music in your house.
Oh yes, yeah. So my parents actually met in music school at Duquesne University in Pittsburgh, and though my mom didn't end up, studying, finishing. She got a music degree, but she wasn't a classical player, and she decided to go back to teach special education. And my dad, who was a musician, heart and soul, ended up going into sales. And then when I was about 5, he decided to leave, business for creating his own music studio out of our basement. He finished our basement. So, and my dad was gigging every weekend. He was also like the local church organist and choir director. And there was an organ in our living room that I remember, like the four of us used to, he would play like when the Saints Go Marching In, and we'd be marching around the living room table, and there was a piano in our dining room and a piano downstairs so it was pretty filled with music, and I was smitten from a very young age. I started piano lessons with my dad around 5. Probably started writing music around 8 or 9, and then started singing my own songs after singing Barry Manilow and Air Supply for many years. When I was about, I guess, 18 or 19.
Was that still in Pittsburgh, or they?
Oh, no.
moved?
So they went to school in Pittsburgh, but I was actually born and raised in New Jersey.
Oh, well, I was born and raised in Pittsburgh, and so
You were?
I know all about Duquesne University.
I did not know that, Kurt.
So that's interesting that you were immersed in music, and it certainly shows because you're a very accomplished pianist and a wonderful songwriter, and we're here to enjoy as much of your music as we can. So what do you have for us next?
Thank you kindly. So next I'm going to actually play a song that I co-wrote with one of my favorite co-writers. She's out of Austin, Texas. Her name is Sarah Cade Rooney. You can follow her at Sarah Cade Music. But she's a beautiful lyricist, songwriter, and we met through Nashville Songwriters Association. One of the people that worked there said, "You two should write together," and it has just been a sisterhood writing love affair since. So we met during the pandemic via Zoom, and we've now seen each other in person several times, and we recorded a couple songs, and actually this is the one that's going to be released tomorrow. It's called Watch Love Grow, and I think it's nice and timely for raising the spirits a little bit. So here we go. All you see is darkness, be the light. And if you're stuck in struggle, find some peace. When life brings you worry, search for hope. Be the seeds of change and watch love grow. Be the seeds of change and watch love grow. Kindness is a virtue, so they say. But sometimes life gets in the way. never know the difference you might bring. A glance, a moment could change everything for someone. So when all you see is darkness, be the light. And if you're stuck in struggle, find some peace. When life brings you worry, search for hope. Be the seeds of change and watch love grow. Be the seeds of change and watch love grow. Patience is a virtue, so take a breath. Feel your heart expand, then decompress. The words you choose to use can break a heart, or open up a door to a brand new start. Our time here on this planet's like a shooting star. The legacy we leave is bigger than we are. So when all you see is darkness, be that light. If you're stuck in struggle, find some peace. When life brings you worry, search for hope. Be the seeds of change and watch love grow. Be the seeds of change and watch love grow. Be the seeds of change and watch love grow. Thank you kindly. I feel like that's a nice message.
These recent songs seem to have a theme that has grown over the past 2 years. Am I catching a theme?
You are catching a
Yeah.
theme. So astute. You know, it's funny. I've spent so many years being a songwriter and a musician, and it's like in the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, you know, I guess probably since, you know, breast cancer diagnosis kind of shifts your perspective a little bit, kind of gives you a different way to look at things. And I've just been trying to uncover and sort of unlearn some of the stuff that we kind of all take on as the years go by, you know. And it's been really, really important for me. There's been like a spiritual awakening, I guess, for lack of a better term, that's been going on for me, which really is just an uncovering of who I really am deeply, like not as a musician, not as a mom, not as a, you know, a sister or a friend or a daughter, but who am I inherently? And I've just started calling myself a self-love advocate, because I want to, one person at a time, just help everyone just absolutely love and nurture and care for themselves, and to sort of honor their voice and their truth. So that's kind of what's been coming out musically. You know, it's been pretty magical, and I feel like a lot of the things I'm writing are very positive and uplifting, as opposed to a lot of the songs about loss and death and sadness that I wrote in the first 20 years. So it's a nice change of pace, and it feels really good, and it feels very empowering, and it feels very in integrity, feels very aligned.
Why do you think a lot of us women, because you and I think we're about the same age, we've talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you
30,
think
31, 32, right?
nailed it, and that's why we love
Kirk. I am impressed. That was really good.
It is. He's
Spot
very
on.
observant.
Wow.
And accurate. What I wondered was, why do you think so many of us women, about now, figure that out after a trauma or a life-changing diagnosis? Why does it take that for us?
Yeah. Well, I think culturally and societally, we're so, we've been sort of ingrained with the idea that we put everyone else first and we take care of business, right? So we've got like really heavy masculine energy of doing and taskless and keeping children alive, right? And I'm not saying that the fathers don't do that as well, but I think that we bury ourselves, and culturally and societally it's expected that we sort of just do what's expected and not maybe listen to your deep inner wisdom. I mean, heck, right? Like women were being burned at the stake, right? For their deep wisdom and their healing powers and, all of this sort of shamanism and things, what they call, witch hunts, right? Women have been persecuted for years, right? Because of what we hold in our bodies.
Yep.
But I also think that we've learned to suppress a lot and put a lot of other people first. And I think a trauma or a diagnosis or really honestly just aging with wisdom, I think is what helps us turn the corner to realize that inherently who we are is magical energy, and we begin to honor that hopefully before it's too late, right?
Well, you're making us wiser. So can you sing and make us wiser?
Sure. Let's see. I think I'm going to play for you all. Put a little list together here. I'm going to play well, Silver Lining, because this is the thing that broke me open, and I think sometimes, right, trauma can do that. And the silver lining of it is that we gain some real wisdom and knowledge. And, sometimes the trauma and the limiting beliefs and all that stuff happens, really early in our lives. And it just takes longer to unbury ourselves. So this is Silver Lining. When you're sitting in the middle of the storm, and when you can't see beyond the gray, you've tried everything that worked before, and you still feel you've lost your way. Remember how you got this far, how many times you walked right through the dark. You are braver than you know. There's always a glimmer of light for you to follow. Whatever you can't see on the other side, there is a choice even in the hard times. Whatever you look for, you'll find. So look for the silver lining. Look for the silver lining, and find that crack of light that wants to shine. It's how you frame it in your mind. Move to one side just a little bit, 'cause what you see now, it's not all of it. Remember how you got this far, how many times you walked right through the dark. You are braver than you know. There's always a glimmer of light for you to follow. Whatever you can't see on the other side, there is a choice even in the hard times. Whatever you look for, you'll find. So look for the silver lining. Look for the silver lining. Look for the silver lining. remember how you got this far, how many times you walked right through the dark. You are braver than you know. There's always a glimmer of light for you to follow. Whatever you can't see on the other side, well, there is a choice even in these hard times. Whatever you look for, you'll find. Whatever you can't see on the other side, well, there is this choice even in the hard times. Whatever you look for, you'll find. So look for the silver lining. Look for the silver lining. Look for the silver lining. Thank you.
Needed that song this week. We have to pay our bills. Speaking of silver linings, where there's like no electricity. All right. Pass the Hat is brought to you this first half hour with support from Accidental Baker Flatbread Crackers, handmade with quality ingredients and lots of care in Hillsborough, North Carolina since 2007. Available at many Triangle and Triad specialty food stores, including Weaver Street Market and Whole Foods in the cheese section, because that just makes sense. Or you can shop online at theaccidentalbakernc.com. That's theaccidentalbakernc.com. And you know what?
What?
Them's crackers really are next to the cheese. I just saw them there tonight.
That's nice. Everybody, we are here really enjoying this fine music from Karen Novy here on Pass the Hat. That's Karen with a K, Novy.com. You can learn all about Karen's adventures, including something that I find just very brave, a one-woman show. So tell us about this.
Yeah, so I was... I felt compelled, let's just say that. I felt compelled to create some sort of an inspirational piece or show that combined storytelling and songtelling. And I really feel strongly that I don't want people to wait to do what they love to do and to be and fully express who they are. As I did with a diagnosis. So it's really me sort of weaving my personal story, which includes, going back to my childhood, of course, when my father passed away when I was 11, and the idea that, the things that we learn and take on then don't necessarily serve you long term. And I had been sort of operating on an old paradigm. And the breast cancer really woke me up to that and to deciding to choose differently, right? So I think we are creative beings, and we have the power to choose, and we have the power to decide and to visualize what it is we do want in our lives. And so that's kind of where that came about. And so I've called it the hero's journey, coming home, because it sort of follows the hero's journey arc. And I divide it into sections where there's a little bit of history and then a song to sort of underscore. So there's 7 songs in the whole show, and it's about an hour long. And I performed it live at the end of February at Unity Center for Peace in Chapel Hill for the first time. I had done it a couple times online during COVID. But yeah, I kind of wrote that in the book during COVID times, and found it to be incredibly empowering.
Amazing. Well, we'll talk about the book here coming up, but I would think, for me, the first time going live with something as soul-bearing, if that's the proper term, must have been. Were you terrified? Or?
It was terrifying. It was so much scarier than I thought it was going to be. I was like, I know the story, I know the history, right? Like, how hard could it be? I got up there and I felt a little bit like, is it Bobby Brady? I can't remember. Whatever one where the red light goes on. I was like, oh my gosh, there's actual people here. So I definitely needed several days to recover. It was terrifying and exhausting, but really fulfilling.
Well, I'm sure the people there were just enthralled with this, and did you is this the sort of thing where you can tell they're getting involved just by, the room gets quiet and that sort of thing?
Yeah, they definitely took the journey with me for sure, and there was moments that we laughed a little bit, and there was moments that I saw people, sort of thinking, I think, about their own experience, right, related to that, because what's personal is universal, right, and I think people were feeling a lot, and it was really powerful. I got some lovely feedback, and I really love it. I would love to take that thing nationally.
But you have plans, a schedule where somebody could come in and see that?
Yeah, so I don't have anything booked right now, but I'm looking for small theaters that would be really good places to be able to put this on.
Good.
Intimate show is a nice. I don't know if you ever saw the documentary on Hulu that came out a couple of years ago. That it was the magician Derek. In and of Itself is what it's called. Did you see that? Did you
No,
see?
didn't.
Oh my God. So as I was working on the One Woman Show, that came out on Hulu, and I was like, it's possible. Because he does a one-man show, and it's story, and it's magic. He incorporates illusions into it. And I was like, this is what I'm doing. And he did it every night for like 500 nights at a small theater in New York City. And they recorded it. It's super great. Everybody should watch it. It's really amazing. Love it.
We certainly wish you the best with that. And
Thank you.
we know that many doors will open for you coming up. And everybody, we are here with Karen Novy, and we're about to turn the top of the hour. And so we are encumbered to say WHUP LP Hillsborough. And we also have the distinct pleasure of having a second sponsor here for the second part of our show.
We do.
And that is a delicious sponsor, we must say.
It is. That is, this part of the show is sweetly sponsored by Matthew's Chocolates.
Oh my God, they're so
at
good.
104 Churton Street. Yes. And
See, unsolicited, the truth from the balcony.
we're not
Ridiculously
allowed
good.
to editorialize as hosts.
But the guest can.
But the guests can, and also chocolate delivery is forthcoming. We are awaiting our delivery right now. But yes, Karen, if you would like to fill in the blanks, what do you think about that?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That chocolate is amazing. I think I was just stunned for like 3 weeks after the last time I was here, and I had the one with the hot chilies,
So good.
and then there was another one. I think there was like peanuts and something. It was just ridiculous. It's amazing.
It is Lucy Bella approved. We stopped at Matthew's. Her thumb is up right now, and she put some sorbet in her face, and then she
Yes.
put some of the chocolate covered fruit, right? And I put some of that in my face too.
She's multitasking.
She is very skilled at important things. So thank you, Matthew.
All the food groups. So.
Yes, we appreciate you, Matthew. Thank you for your sponsorship, and thank you for being part of our community.
Yes.
What would we be without you?
One of the great things about Hillsborough. Well, Karen Novy, I know you're filled with music, and we just can't wait to hear what you have next.
Yeah, I think next I'm gonna play. I'm going to play a song called Phoenix, which I'm actually working on with a producer out of LA, and it is this close to being finished. So we got the final mix on the way, and then I'm going to get it mastered. It'll be my next single that's released. And this song is extremely important to me. It's really, really important to me. It's about, uncovering and maybe recovering my soul and my voice and my purpose in a profound way, and so it also talks about, I guess, subtly about mental illness, right? And I think that anxiety and depression and just mental illness in general has such a stigma around it, and there's it's all over my family tree, and my kid's dad, their family tree. And so my kids, suffer from some anxiety and depression. I've experienced depression through my life, and I was taking a course 2 years ago, a music licensing course, right about when COVID sort of shut everything down, and the woman said this phrase, and I will never forget it. I want everyone to hear it: that the opposite of depression is not happiness or joy; it's purpose. And I really feel strongly that when we acknowledge and understand our purpose, untold joy comes from that. So this was me uncovering that and coming back to life. It's called Phoenix. What is this ringing in my ears? Like a drone that scores the tears. Feeling so lost, which way to turn? Can you feel my heart, my pain burn? A phoenix rising from the ashes, life cracking open to beat these old habits. The noise is starting to clear so that I can hear again. I must be the driving force, feeling stuck and silent, it's worse. I must speak up and I must speak out. I will not be silenced again. And like a phoenix rising from the ashes, and life cracking open to birth a new presence, the noise is starting to clear so that I can hear again. And making my way through the clearing of the cave to the sunshine on the other side. Well, I am committed to creating my very own life. These dark shadows, they try to cover me. Oh, but my light does not dim, my light will not fade. The darkness will not overtake me. I will not be swallowed by an ocean of fear. The darkness will not overtake me. It's like a phoenix rising from the ashes, this life cracking open to be the best version. I'm a phoenix rising. The noise, it's starting to clear so that I can hear again. 'Cause I have so much goodness to bring to this world. I will not surrender my voice. Thank you.
Lucy Bella, would you like to do your spokesmodel job? We have. So Lucy Bella is doing a little volunteer
something
work.
appeared in the
Yes.
studio.
Ta-da! Can you take this?
Magic
and
box.
Bring it to Karen. These are they're truffles from Matthew's, hand delivered by Matthew and then Lucy Bella. I know. That's dinner, isn't it?
Oh my God, it is dinner. I couldn't be more excited.
Now
Lovely packaging as well.
were you Kirk? I was singing along to that a little bit. Were you riding that wave?
I was definitely, and that Silver Lining song, that was the previous one, right? That's a wonderful song too.
Oh,
really
thank
nice.
you.
There's something that your vocals in what you're singing about and the message that you're trying to convey, when you go off with your vocals, when you just release it all into the air, those who need it feel it and they get on it. I can feel that just release when that note happens. And that goes with what you're saying. It accompanies it very well.
Oh, thank you. That's beautiful. Yeah, I'm a big believer in energy transference, right? And how, and yeah, I think that that's a beautiful thing, and music is so great at that, right? It's so impactful and it's so sort of heart opening. So,
Karen, we alluded to the book a few minutes ago, and so is the book completed and available?
it is. I was just looking around because I have the cover. I can show you the cover. I actually have the actual book. And I carry it with me because...
So the ink is still...
There it is.
Beautiful. And so when would this be available to the world?
It is available now. It's on Amazon.com, BarnesandNobles.com.
There you go, everybody.
It's at local booksellers in Durham. Please go buy the one copy they have at the Regulator that they said they would hold for me until people started coming to buy it. If whoever buys that, you can email me and I will send you music or something because I want them to order more.
Very nice.
I'm thrilled. That was a labor of love, and I'll tell you, when I got the nudge to write a book, I was like, not doing that. You're out of your mind. Like the great author, the universal energy was like, yeah, maybe put it in a book. But I love it. It's really just like little snippets of inspiration that you can kind of pick up and read a passage, and you don't have to read it all in one sitting, though you actually can.
Some people keep diaries and journals and things who come in here. Is this book derived from such a thing that you've been keeping, or the journal and diary has been in your mind, inside of you, and you said, decide I'm going to write a book, and you started to pull it out in that way?
Well, I definitely, once I felt the little tap, the little nod to do so, I've always written in a journal. I mean, I think as songwriters we do, write a lot. And then I think free writing every morning for everyone is so sort of creative and expansive. So once I decided I was going to be writing it, I actually had a writer's residency up in Martha's Vineyard for 2 weeks. And that's when I really started it. And I brought a fresh journal and I actually physically wrote, instead of typing. And then, so the whole process took about a year from when I wrote it to then, getting it published. But it's kind of has that feel of like journal entries, even though that wasn't my intention as I was writing it. But it just kind of started coming out that way, and kind of got divided into 3 different sections.
Well, everybody, Regulator Bookshop, be the first one over there, first thing in the morning.
First thing tomorrow morning.
And
then email me.
Karen Novy, coming home, be the hero of your own story. Karen will probably meet you somewhere and autograph that for you.
Oh, heck yeah. Heck yeah.
But we are here to hear more music, and if you'd be so kind.
Yeah, I sure will. I think I'd like to play a song that I co-wrote with my other favorite co-writer, who actually lives in Arizona, and she and I. This is timely of considering what we were just talking about, Kim. We were talking about how we don't want our daughters, and this is sort of like in a Maya Angelou, our daughters kind of a way, to have to do what we had to do, which is sort of work hard to express our voice and speak up, and learn to feel confident and clear when we're speaking. And we were talking about the idea that it's just not something that at least in my generation, women did readily. And then I look at my mother and beyond, and I'm thinking, I mean, I don't even know how they survived. Like, they just were so limited, I think, in so many ways. You know, their wings were clipped. So we were talking about this, and you know, true to form, I like in the middle of the night, I like had a voice note, you know, and I message it to her. It's like it's barely coherent. And this song came out of that, and it's called "No More Circus Tricks." So. It's for all the women out there who are trying to be brave and speak their truth. Taught to be quiet, told to stand down, not to make waves, wear a smile and a crown. It's time to wake, open your eyes, shake off the chains and realize we are not the girls our mamas raised. Drop the baton and stop the parade. When I wake from this dream, I'm gonna miss the fairy tales, but I can't deny those things that burn inside of me. I'm gonna reach for my soul. It's gonna be like an eclipse. I was born to rule the world. No more circus tricks. No more circus tricks. Watch me rise, watch me change the game. It's no surprise, like the spark to the flame. Well, open my eyes, I'm coming alive. 'Cause we are not the girls our mamas raised. Drop the baton and stop the parade. When I wake from this dream, I'm gonna miss the fairy tales, but I can't deny those things that burn inside of me. I'm gonna reach for my soul. It's gonna be like an eclipse. I was born to rule the world. No more circus tricks. When I wake from this dream, I'm gonna miss the fairy tales, but I can't deny those things that burn inside of me. I'm gonna reach for my soul. It's gonna be like an eclipse. I was born to rule the world. No more circus tricks. No more circus tricks. We're not the girls our mamas raised.
Those are discussions that have been had in my house. That
Good.
I want you, daughter of mine, to have more of a voice and to be safe than I ever was.
Yeah.
Because I felt unsafe a lot. And it was made very clear to me, you don't speak of what happens here. You carry on and you put on a good face. And because you don't want to make anyone look bad. And so I'm hopefully coaching this one to do the opposite. To you do speak when you are harmed. And even if it were, say, me, you know, if mommy needs to do better, mommy needs to do better.
Yeah.
And you got to make it known.
Yeah.
So yes, we are not. That's really powerful stuff.
Yeah.
And hopefully our daughters can do better. And we have a tradition of doing better instead of regressing, which I feel sometimes we're doing culturally.
Yeah, I agree. The most powerful thing, I think, is to teach our children that they are, first of all, that they are magnificent and perfectly perfect as they are, and that they have value and that they're important. And then that leads to, and of course, their voice should be heard. They should be seen and heard.
Yep.
Yeah. I imagine as you are, I'm coming from a long line of women who have not been able to speak up for one reason or another. And I'm very much trying to, with my daughter, shift that tide,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
And it's hard because it does make you vulnerable. That's the thing about and it seems to be a cachet that sticks with women singers. Everyone makes like it's so groundbreaking. I'm thinking back to people like Liz Phair, for example. Remember when she
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
When Liz Phair was doing her thing, everyone was like, this is so groundbreaking. Oh my God. When really, dudes have been doing this since the beginning of time, since we were banging rocks together. And women, we articulate the reality of what our needs have been.
Right.
And everyone's like, wow.
Right. That's so cutting edge. Wow,
Yeah.
That's so edgy.
It's just our reality. Thanks,
No, it's
though,
just,
for listening.
It's just truth, though. Thank you very much. Yeah.
And like we're so radical for saying anything out loud. And I'm so grateful for those early people like Liz Phair, who is instrumental to me. And now people like Billie Eilish.
Yeah,
for
sure.
what the kids are listening to now, who is so vulnerable and so open about everything that affects her. I'm
Right.
so glad that kids have a role model to say, I am imperfect, I am still growing, and you can be too. Every generation needs that.
Absolutely. Right. The permission to feel, permission to be, permission to speak.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Everybody, this has been a special show, and we know that you want to share it with as many people as you can, and we have ways you can do that. All of our shows here on WHUP are recorded and archived for all time, whupfm.org. Click shows and scroll down to Pass the Hat, and tonight's show will be there, the audio. And in addition to that, we are live streaming the video, and you can go on the Pass the Hat Facebook page, and this video will be sitting there and out in other places like YouTube and the like, and you can see and share Karen Novy and her wonderful story and her amazing music. But you don't need to do any of that right now, because Karen, we have time for probably 2 more songs. Ooh. Or maybe 3.
Ooh. Well, no, because mine are usually a little longer than the 3.
So one more medley.
So, yeah, okay, great. I was just thinking that I'm going to play this new song. It's not been recorded yet, but I think the sort of the red strand, the theme that's been coming through my songwriting lately is really about finding my own voice and honoring my own light and soul and being, and then encouraging others to do as well. So this song came through a few months ago, and I say came through. Do you ever feel like that? Do you feel like they just kind of write themselves? So as songwriters, I think it happens occasionally. So this song came through, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is me talking to me, and me, I mean like my inner wisdom, sort of highest self me, talking to me, Karen, physical reality me, saying, finally, like we're finally connected. Like we're not disassociated. We're not disjointed. We are one and the same. You've finally like come home to belabor that theme. So, so that's what this one is about. It's called Finally Here. But I think people can take it as like it's a lover or it's a child. So however it strikes you is beautiful, but just letting you know that that's kind of how it struck me after I wrote it. Or it wrote me. always known you. There's been a tug in my heart for as long as I remember, and now here you are. You didn't give up, you stayed the course, patient and loving, such a beautiful force. The warmth that I feel from head to toe, it's like the sunshine of a summer day. Without a glimmer of doubt, this purpose I know. It feels like the memory of a true friend from so long ago. Without a glimmer of doubt, this purpose I know. Feels like the memory of a true love from so long ago. You are here. You are here, finally here. I can see you've been waiting. I guess I was too, though I didn't know it till I came upon you, guided by love, the stars and the truth. I've opened my heart and dedicated to you, 'cause the warmth that I feel from head to toe, it's like the sunshine of a summer day. Without a glimmer of doubt, this purpose I know. And it feels like the memory of a true friend from so long ago. Without a glimmer of doubt, this purpose I know. Just feels like the memory of a true love from so long ago. You are here. You are here, finally here. Well, all along I guess I knew there never was a question of you. Maybe when or where or how, but that's all been answered now. Without a glimmer of doubt, this purpose I know. It feels like the memory of a true friend from so long ago. Without a glimmer of doubt, this purpose I know. Feels like the memory of a true love. Without a glimmer of doubt, this purpose I know. Feels like the memory of a true friend from so long ago. Without a glimmer of doubt, this purpose I know. Feels like the memory of a true love from so long ago. And you are here. You are here. You are here. Finally here.
Karen Novy, y'all. Well, Karen, thank you so much for bringing us your live self, your live music, all of it.
It is my great pleasure. Thank you for having me so much.
Before we play your playlist, so you're going to turn over and be the DJ now.
Yeah,
Before we play your playlist, tell people where they can find you online and support you by actually buying your stuff. We're not trying to be all mercenary here, but working artists are working. That means they would love to do this for free, but it's work, and support them. So where can we buy your stuff?
Yeah, so all of my music, 3 albums and a bunch of singles, are available on Apple Music, Amazon. I have a Bandcamp page that's coming up now, which I think is probably beneficial for indie artists. I think you get more of the amount that people pay for your music. You can, of course, find snippets of music on my website, which is KarenNovy.com. And I am on Spotify, so feel free to look me up there, follow. And I have a bunch of live music videos on my YouTube channel, which is Karen Novy Songwriter. And on the socials, I'm Karen Novy Songwriter on Instagram and Facebook.
Okay, now you know. All right, in a moment, we are going to, I think the live stream just shut itself off automatically. The battery on the camera wasn't charging very well, so okay. We don't get to wave you off of the live stream, and I apologize about that.
No worries.
Can you introduce, do you remember the order you had your songs in?
Yeah, I have them right here, because I shared the playlist. So, yeah. So this first one, it's called Build It Better. It's by a songwriter, artist. His name is Aaron Wright. And I discovered this song only about 2 years ago. And several of the songs on my list are like from 2008, but I just love them so much. So we're just going to be listening to these things. And Build It Better, I love the theme of it, of things like breaking down, but then like a phoenix rising, right? Just being able to come back and make it better second time around.
All right, let's listen.
Still see where the water was, in a line at the top of the chimney bricks. Sometimes something so broken can never be fixed. So we saved a few things that were spared and brought it to the ground. 'Cause you always build it better the second time around.